Too hot for TV.
Welcome back to Doctor Who Too Hot for TV. We're the podcast that looks at all things Doctor Who Extended Universe. Today, I'm joined once again by Mark Rawlins. Mark, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah. Well, I say I'm very good. I'm not. I've got a cold. I'm like when Colin Baker recorded Spectre of Lanyon Moore. He had a bit of a cold, and they had to put a line in at the beginning. Evelyn says, "You've got a cold."
Do you know what? I don't think I ever noticed that. I mean, he just sounded old because he was older.
No, not back then, early days. No, he's definitely got. Go back, everyone. Listen to Spectre of Lanyon Moore, especially part 1. He's got that sort of cold voice like I have right now.
I see. But the rest of the stories, he had that youthful energy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, fair. I listened to a BBV Professor and Ace the other day, just for my own pleasure, not even for a podcast. And I was suddenly struck because I know we all go, oh, they sound old. But when you've been listening to people get older, perhaps you don't notice it as much. And then I'd listened to a new Big Finish with Sylvester, and it was the first one I heard, and I was like, God, he sounds old. And then I jumped back into a BBV and I was like, fuck me. That is like, they could have walked out of Survival and into the studio for that BBV. But
yeah, straight off TV. Like Peter Davison in The Sirens of Time. It's completely like, and nowadays he's completely different if you compare those two. Yeah. Sad
times. The clock is ticking for all of your favourite Doctor Who's. What a depressing note to start with. So, we've been talking about doing this episode for a while. Why don't you tell everybody what we've chosen to do?
So we have chosen the Pipers Lament.
Indeed.
Which is a, what should I say, an exclusive from FrazerHines.co.uk.
It is indeed. I mean, what a treat. We'll get into the wares of what's that in a minute. And then the second thing which we're doing?
And we're doing Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon, Episode 2, The Flood.
Wonderful. So the theme is basically companions on their own in their own series or their own adventures. And we've picked 2 very different things. So, The Pipers Lament was written by David J. Howe. It was directed by Sam Stone with sound design by Robin Good and was released in July of 2013. News at the time, we'd got our first look at David Bradley as William Hartnell. The Daleks were announced as being in the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. Prince Charles visited Rothloke, and Matt Smith, Tom Baker, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy were confirmed for the official 50th anniversary convention, and Heathrow Airport began a special summer-long Doctor Who event to celebrate the show's 50th anniversary. The opening was marked by a performance by the London Philharmonic Orchestra and a book signing of Jenny Colgan's Dark Horizons. I mean...
Wow. It's the 50th anniversary year. I didn't know anything about that Heathrow event.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Did they get Janet Fielding for that?
I don't know, but I don't know whether if I'd heard about a Doctor Who event at Heathrow, I'd be like, can I go down to Heathrow and get my book signed by Jenny Colgan?
Well, only if it was part of a marketing campaign, like, we've got to get to Heathrow, get your tickets, half price. But everything else is,
glory days.
50th.
But it always surprises me that when Doctor Who has an anniversary, the tangential things that the BBC go, this will be a good idea. And it's always like, we'll get the TARDIS to show up on Loose Women and Heathrow Airport. Yeah, sure. It's like, when you go to an airport, you're usually stressed out. You're wondering where to check in, your baggage is too heavy, the queue's massive, and the last thing you're thinking is, oh, should we stop and get an autograph from Jenny Colgan or watch the Philharmonic Orchestra play the Doctor Who theme tune for 20 minutes? Got to get through security.
Is she there just at the check-in desk? Like, what's your name? Where are you going? I'll dedicate my book to you.
Releases at the time, we had Audio Go and Big Finish's Shockwave featuring the Seventh Doctor and Ace. From BBC Audio, we had Doctor Who and the Leisure Hive. From Big Finish, we had Persuasion featuring the Seventh Doctor, Klein and Will. The companion chronicle Mastermind featuring the Decayed Master. And the final phase with the Fourth Doctor, Romana and K9. From Puffin Books, we had The Ripple Effect featuring the Seventh Doctor and Ace. And we had, from IDW, we had the Seventh Doctor story, Prisoners of Time. There was the first performance of Doctor Who at the Proms. And there was a comic strip called A Wing and a Prayer featuring the 11th Doctor, Clara and Amy. And there was a special Fourth Doctor DVD collector's box set called The Fourth Doctor Time Capsule. Do you remember that?
I do, yes. Because didn't it come with a figure of the Fourth Doctor? And wasn't it Terror of the Zygons included before the official release, or is that something else?
Yeah, you're right. It was an advanced edition of the Terror of the Zygons. But the Fourth Doctor figure was a regeneration figure, so he was in his Pertwee.
Oh, right. What else was in there?
So there was an exclusive interview with Tom Baker, the Genesis of the Daleks audio CD, the Tomb of Valdemar, the paperback, the Fourth Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, a full-colour print of the Fourth Doctor, 9 art cards, and a TARDIS translator.
Wow. I mean, I never got that, but there was so much happening at this time. Just all of those things. It was just ridiculous, actually, the amount of stuff that was coming out.
Yeah. And it's weird that we only had that one thing, so I can only assume, it was limited edition, but I can only assume they went, that is not a profitable thing, we're not doing that again, because it seems like you would do one for all of them, right?
I mean, that's the kind of thing, like, if he had died, maybe that is, like, something you could release. But just for the 50th, no, you can't just do that. Was it? It wasn't even an anniversary for the Fourth Doctor, really, was it? Maybe. No, it wouldn't have been. So, no, I don't really see much point on that. Some of those other things, there was that first one, Shockwave. That was the Destiny of the Doctor series.
Yeah, never heard it.
I've done the first one, Hunters of Earth. And then that came out in a box set, like a collector's box set thing. Right. And that was like one of the last things that came out before Audio Go were no more, I think.
Oh, right.
But it was Big Finish and Audio Go.
Yeah, they collaborated to do these audio books.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that's how they were going to get the new series Doctors. Didn't happen, obviously.
No, they got Jenna Coleman.
Oh, yeah, they did get Jenna Coleman. She's never doing a Big Finish ever, is she?
Her one and only experience. I don't know if she even did any of those new series readings, actually. I don't think she did. No. That's the only thing she's done, I think.
There was a thing where, during the David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston eras, where it felt like they'd snare the stars to do those sort of readings. And by the time the Moffat era came round, everybody was like, oh, no, that's not enough money for me to bother doing a day's work.
I think, Series 3, like Free Regiment does tons of them. That was in her contract. She didn't look at the small print. She didn't look at that last page. You're doing 10 audiobooks when you finish filming. Like Catherine Tate does 1 or 2.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
David Tennant does a few, but
he's a fanboy.
That's different. And then we just get Nick Briggs doing the Christopher Eccleston ones in that Destiny of the Doctor, and then some of the others.
Yeah. But I remember thinking they're gonna get the new series Doctors, and it was no. I remember Persuasion with the Seventh Doctor and Klein, because I just like the Seventh Doctor and Klein stories.
I remember that not going down too well, that trilogy.
Well, really, that's interesting.
Persuasion, was it Persuasion, Starlight Robbery, and because it was that Will guy as well, wasn't it?
Whatever happened.
If I'm thinking that, didn't go down well. Any of that.
I was a Big Finish fiend at the time because I wasn't really enjoying what was on television, so I was heavily invested in Big Finish. Which leads us nicely to the Pipers Lament, not from Big Finish. I should say.
Well, but cashing in on the 50th anniversary.
Oh, absolutely.
Too hot for TV.
A nameless Highlander sits in a tavern, recounting his life to a stranger while haunted by fragmented memories and the mournful tune of the Phantom Piper. He tells of his mother's brutal death at the hands of a redcoat, his years of wandering, and his search for belonging in a small town where he briefly finds a friend. As strange visions resurface, he realises the Piper's Lament is bound to the trauma he has long suppressed. In confronting the truth of his past, he discovers that the stranger he is speaking to believes him, and an old friend is waiting for him at the end.
Too hot for TV.
When did you first hear this?
Well, I heard about it first on Gallifrey Base
Right.
back in the day, and it stood out because it's not a BBV, it's not Big Finish, it is of its own production, shall we say?
It's a one-off.
It is one-off, and I hadn't ever heard it, and I mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was just lying at a stall at a convention for £5, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the Pipers Lament! I have to get this." It's just one of those things. I remember seeing the picture of it online all that time ago, and yeah, I didn't really know what it was about or where it was from. It's quite an obscure one.
It is a very obscure one. I'd never fucking heard of it until you were like, "I've got this." I was like, "What is that?" So I was very excited when you found a copy of it, because I immediately went on eBay and the CDs are always like £50. I'm like, I'm not spending £50 on that.
No, but yeah, I
That's
was
the same cost as the Sophie Eldred wrapped in a bedsheet CDs.
Oh, really? No, well, yeah, maybe I'd rather have that than this. So yeah, Piper's Lament. So self-published, I'm going to say, through Frazer Hines.
Well, quite. The industry that he is.
And I mean, good old Frazer Hines, one of a select group of actors from Doctor Who that have cashed in, but know the business and have their own website.
Mm.
Well, we've got FrazerHines.co.uk. I think Annika Wills has one. Tom Baker, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't think of too many others that have got that website. You know, they've got all the sections of, I was going to say Nick Briggs has a website, that sells the merchandise, sells exclusive items.
And so around the time of the anniversary, he thought, well, they'll obviously ask me to be in the 50th, and they didn't. So he was like, I shall speak to my good friend David J. Howe, and we will create our own story. And I suppose it's sort of a companion chronicle in a way, which is the best way to describe it to someone that has never heard it or never heard of it.
Well, yes, it's a one-person monologue, a lament.
A lament, if you will.
As intended, performed by Frazer Hines.
Mm.
And yeah, it is. So he would have done companion chronicles before this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Jamie. So, I mean, I'm not sure if we need any more, but it's an interesting story and it's an interesting idea.
It's interesting to hear an off-brand version and also to know that something like this still exists at that time, because you'd think Big Finish have cornered the market. BBV aren't quite back yet with whatever it is they end up doing, but this is absolutely something I could see BBV doing in 1999, but I don't know whether... I mean, I guess, is there a place for it at that time?
Well, that's the thing. Even with Frazer Hines, he's been employed by Big Finish to do these stories as Jamie. The problem you have with this is it has to be copyright free.
Indeed.
So he can't actually be Jamie. He's just the Piper. You can't directly reference the Doctor or the monsters or anything. I'm sure we'll talk about he has these dreams and describes various Doctor Who episodes without saying exactly what they are. And this is Jamie again, older Jamie. His memory's been wiped and he's having these dreams. We've had this, so far I make it 3 times already in Big Finish. So his first companion chronicle, Helicon Prime, he gets struck by lightning and remembers a season 6B story and tells it back. And then Glorious Revolution, a Time Lord from the CIA comes back, temporarily gives back his memory so he can recount a story, and then Jamie decides he wants to forget. because he's married to Kirsty and had kids and stuff and doesn't want to.
Right.
He's had a happy life and he's not bothered. And then most recently in the Beyond the War Games sets, he's come back, old man. He's in an Edinburgh dungeon or something. I'm halfway through listening through that one. And he's having dreams and visions and things. So, I mean, it's happened a lot, isn't it? But I think it's limiting, though, what you can do.
Mm. And the comics did it as well, didn't they? I think it was like the World Shapers or something like that. But like this was like 80s, though. I think they went back to him. So, yeah, it's nothing we haven't heard before in terms of Jamie recollecting his time with the Doctor. But I don't know whether this necessarily contradicts anything that's come before it. It's just sort of, I suppose you could probably try and weave them all into some sort of continuity, as the Doctor Who fans do.
Well, I think the thing with this one is, in the Companion Chronicles, like I say, something happens. He's old Jamie. He's forgotten. Something happens and he remembers, and then he tells you a story. He tells you a Doctor Who story. So you have a framing device before you go into your, Dr. Jamie Zoe story. Here, all you've got is the framing device.
Yeah.
You can't go into something else necessarily, or they haven't decided to go into something else in that way. They've set it in the present, and so it's Jamie telling a lassie in a bar his life story, which I just imagine Frazer Hines chatting up a girl at a convention or something. And so he's telling what directly happens when he comes back from the War Games. And actually, I've heard this a couple of times. And yeah, calling it the Pipers Lament is quite fitting, actually, because it's quite a bit of a sad story for what happens to Jamie afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's a very it's a celebration of the character of Jamie, and sort of does something to sort of explain what happened afterwards. But I also can't imagine anyone buying this won't have necessarily experienced Big Finish or things like that. So it's not, if this was 1997 and Fraser had decided to do this, you'd go, oh, brilliant, this is an extra bit of almost Doctor Who. But I do think, if you're celebrating 50 years of Doctor Who, why not let one of the most loved companions from the 60s do their own little thing? And, it's fine. What do you think of the script then?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I was waiting for stuff to happen for quite a lot of the time. Because, I mean, the cover is quite misleading. There's an off-brand Quark, blasting fire at him. So, the first 15 minutes or so is Jamie telling his story, his childhood.
Yeah.
And describing, and there was a lot of bagpipe torts, and there was a lot of was it tartan bladders and stuff? I was like, I don't want to know about all these tartan bladders and things. So as it was going on, I was thinking, right, when is this going to kick in? When is something going to happen? And I was also thinking, okay, he's in Scotland, and I suppose he is a piper. I was like, is that all there is to him? He just plays the bagpipes. It's like everyone in Scotland plays the bagpipes. There's got to be something else. And then, he goes into this more sad story. I was expecting something a bit more exciting to happen, but he just wanders around and everyone's disappeared after he's come back from the War Games.
Because presumably it's years later, or they've got the timing wrong or something like that.
Yeah. It got a little bit repetitive with all these memories and dreams. I remembered, and he describes various. It's quite fun to try and work out which Doctor Who story he's describing.
Yeah.
These robots, these silver men, and all this kind of stuff. I felt like that went on a bit too much, but I think it's probably trying to show his torment and his confusion. And then he meets a friend. His friend sort of gets cancelled in history because he, attacks a girl or something who dies. And then throughout the whole thing, I was thinking there's got to be a twist. There's got to be something. Who is he talking to in the bar? That has to be turning into something. And it sort of does, doesn't it?
Well, who does it turn into, or what does it turn into?
Well, he's talking to a lassie, as he said. And then she hands him a bit of paper. But because throughout this whole thing, he doesn't know his name for copyright purposes. He doesn't know his name. And it has his name on it. And then suddenly he can remember things. And then at the door is the Doctor.
Yeah.
And off he goes to have adventures with the Doctor. I'm like, who is the girl that he's talking to?
I mean, it's got to be Victoria or Zoe, right? It's got to be Zoe.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
that wasn't
that's
really made explicitly clear, though, was it?
because at some point they give him a sherbet lemon,
Yeah.
and that triggers a memory. And it actually says on the back of the CD, under the copyright stuff, no sherbet lemons were harmed during the making of this audio.
Of course it does. We also get a bit of his backstory in terms of the death of his mother, which is quite a tragic moment.
Yes. Yeah, although he says mum at the beginning, which I felt was a bit anachronistic, and then he says mother later on.
Yeah.
I was like, someone missed that in the script editing there. So, yeah, it fills in a bit more of the character of Jamie. Back then, we didn't get any of that in the Highlanders. So that was quite nice. But I don't know, I was just waiting for something else to kick in. I think I was thinking in that Companion Chronicles way that he would say, oh, there's an alien or something. And we do have a Sontaran ship crash.
He kills a Sontaran.
He kills a Sontaran. So nobody believes him. He lives his whole life basically having all these dreams and memories. And then when this Sontaran crashes and he kills it, then the landlord's like, oh, you might be telling the truth all the time. We sort of forgive you and you can just carry on living your life now. I don't know, there wasn't much impact, but I suppose, like I say, when you go back to the lament part of it, it is like this is his life, this is what it was like.
It's not the doctor makes people better thing that we're so used to these days. It's like, actually, he went back to quite a shitty time and continued to lead quite a shitty life where he was just a bit of a drifter and just like earning money where he can and remembering all these strange things that happened to him. And then he's finally vindicated in his old age where he kills the Sontaran, and then the doctor comes back and off they go into time and space, I guess.
And I'm not sure if it has anything to do with Frazer Hines' delivery, because when it says performs, yeah, he's telling this sort of sad story in a sort of monologue style. But I get that with Frazer Hines in the Companion Chronicles and in his other stuff as well. I feel like the Frazer Hines that narrates the TV soundtrack that says Jamie and Zoe walk through the door, and the Frazer Hines that presents the missing episodes from 1973, all episodes are, in the archive. And then you've got this, and he's doing a Scottish accent, but it's still, I woke up and this happened.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of emotional range.
That's it. I don't think he ever has that, though, in anything that he does, or maybe on audio. I've never really seen that in his performances, so maybe that's it. But it's not like there's lots of different characters to do voices or anything.
No, he does a couple of Second Doctor ones, but only lightly because, copyright.
Yeah, yeah, he does a very good. That's his trademark, Patrick Troughton, definitely. So maybe the performance is a bit flat as well. There's not that range in his emotions there.
I feel like the Jamie we get in the classic series is this cheeky chappy. And he's a young, sprightly, cheeky chappy, and that's basically it. But I've never seen Frazer Hines in it. I must have seen him in Emmerdale or something, but I've got no memory of him doing any sort of range as an elder actor. That doesn't mean he can't do it, but for some reason when he is delivering a narration like this, there isn't too much. It's quite a somber story, and he's quite serious when he's lamenting. But at the same time, there aren't really like peaks and troughs and things like that. And I think that is his performance, unfortunately.
No, yeah, the emotion of him coming back and nobody's there and he's sitting in his old house, homeless and sad and depressed, is the same kind of acting as when the doctor arrives at the end and he goes off with him,
Yeah.
There's not anything there. Maybe that's part of it. But I appreciate having that window into his life there, especially like you say before his early life and everything. Maybe not just that bagpipe stuff though. Did you think like that's because I did try and get through? I did fall asleep a couple of times when I was trying to get through this the first time, and it was at that point I was like, I don't want to hear more about bagpipes and stuff. But then, yeah, it's different. It's a different way. It's a sad. We don't have. It's more of a 90s thing. If this was like a 90s book, like a Missing Adventure or something, I mean, much worse would have happened to Jamie, but it would have been this kind of tone of thing. Yeah, like you say, it's surprising. 2013, we were all Sarah Jane's had a wonderful time after the Doctor, and, well, sort of. And it was all, the Doctor's changed my life for the better, and he could have come back and rallied troops and fought a local mayor or whatever they have in history. Again, it could have been that kind of story where he was the hero. He came back and he was the hero, and maybe he didn't know why, but he'd had all these skills or something like that. But they haven't gone down that route. Like
fought for his community, or like built it, helped a town become this amazing town or this place of industry or something like that.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they went down that sort of sad route of there's nothing here, everyone's gone, not even Kirsty's around. He could have mentioned Kirsty.
No.
I thought it could have been Kirsty that he was talking to.
Yeah, I did wonder, but it's never explicitly said, but I'm assuming it's got to be Zoe. What do you think of the production here?
Well, it's fairly basic.
Yeah. I think it's missing sound effects and other voices. I think it didn't need much, but just that the lassie just needed to be but I guess then if it is Zoe, like straight away. But it just felt like actually it'd be better without the twist. And she just sort of goes, "This man told me to give you this," and it was the Doctor. But
literally like a couple of scenes at the beginning, a couple of scenes at the end, a voice just to come in and just say. But I mean, we get some bagpipe music.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And some sound effects would be like a few more sound effects, especially when he's talking about these wild adventures. And there's a bit of it, but not loads. And it just needs a little bit more. It needs to decide whether it's an audio book or a solo performance, and it can still be a solo performance with enhancements,
There were sort of gaps in between chapters, or I felt like there were chapters.
Yeah.
Because there was that extra sort of long pause in between certain sections.
Yeah. But I mean, David Howe's a prose writer predominantly. I mean, he has written Doctor Who spin-off dramas and stuff like that. But so I just wonder whether that's the format he's most used to.
I think it does feel more like a short story from a short trips book or something like that that's been read, not performed, as I say. Because it says on the back, actor Frazer Hines reads this tale of love and loss and brings to life the past history of a lonely and troubled Scot.
Oh, very sad. Do you think at the time, and indeed now, there might be more room for things like this?
I think Big Finish has that.
Yeah.
That whole market covered. I mean, I feel like even with Big Finish, because BBC Audio are doing original 1 hour things, similar, well, this kind of thing, as well as doing the Target books and everything else. Any book ever is now coming out on audio. There's so much audio, and they're doing the Beyond the Doctor things is close as well. They did that one with Ian and Barbara in 1965. I think they've done Polly, Bessie.
Oh yeah,
Mrs. Wibsey from Hornet's Nest. That's like a linked arc of stories beyond the Doctor. This could be one of these Beyond the Doctor stories. But I think there's just so much.
Yeah, I don't keep up with all the Big Finish, so the idea of then jumping into the BBC ones as well is just like, as you say, there's so much. And like when I did a 13th Doctor audio, like an audio book, and it was brilliant from the BBC, but I just don't have the capacity in my life to then also jump into those. So it's only when stuff like this, and indeed that 13th Doctor one, is only when somebody goes, let's do it on a podcast.
Yeah. Like the CD, which I'm showing you here, you get a lovely signed photo of Frazer Hines inside.
Oh, that's nice.
There he is.
On holiday in Majorca, it looks like.
Absolutely. That is a holiday snap.
Yeah.
You don't get that with a Big Finish.
No,
well, you get the car park, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't get like a nice sunny holiday resort.
The car park's long gone now, though, isn't it? You never see the car park anymore.
No, I don't think you do you?
They were told to stop shooting photos in there because it wasn't their car park. It was just a car park nearby. But whoever owned it went, you can't shoot in here. What are you doing?
I mean, if the car park is the best place to have photos, what is that area like? It must be rough around there.
It's just a war zone outside. Is there anything else you want to say on the Pipers Lament?
Only that I think it would, in terms of continuity, I think it would fit in with all those Big Finishers and everything else. I mean, I would put this before the Beyond War Games set he's reminiscing. Oh, no, actually, no, because he goes off with the Doctor, doesn't he? Damn. Yeah, I'd have to have a think about that. I was going to say, I think there's a way to do it. There is a way to work that out in between.
This was before the War Games, though, right? So this is the OG.
Before the War Games, yes. I need to get through those sets and then just to work out exactly if maybe it could fit within there, if in between like episode 1 and 2 or something of that Jamie box set somehow. If I could, I would fit it into my ultimate audio chronology.
Amazing.
Of everything that I'm always continually working on.
Do you put the Professor and Ace BBVs in there?
Absolutely, yeah. Not all of them. Well, until they start the early ones at least.
So not when they're the Domini.
No, I don't. I can't really justify that.
Love that. So it just changes, and that's it. Do you know there was a series that never came out? They recorded 2, and it was called Time Gash, and it was a well-known fan who basically did the BBV Professor and Ace thing before then, and there were 2 audios recorded, but they were never finished, featuring Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred in these Doctor and Ace-like characters called Time Gash. I don't think they realised what Time Gash meant, or what
Time
Gash meant. But I don't think we'll ever hear them. But they were sort of announced in fan press, and then they just disappeared because they just didn't have the money to finish them or whatever. So,
wow,
yeah, that is one of forget the Myth Makers or the Massacre. That's the lost episodes I need.
Time Gash somewhere. Oh, you got to track those down. You have to.
I wish I could. So it's quite a slight thing, this. Like, there isn't loads to talk about. There's not a big story to get into. He recounts his time with the Doctor. There's a nice little end after quite a tragic life. It's one person ultimately performing it, not a huge amount of sort of additional stuff. So I think we can just rate it and move on.
Yeah, and it's not particularly one I would go back to. I don't think you can get any more out of it after you've listened to it once, or in my case, twice.
But it's lovely to have, and it's exactly the sort of obscure thing that I set up this podcast to cover. So, like, as soon as I found out about it, I was like, let's fucking do this. But is it a clanger, a banger, or an average meander?
I'm going to have to say average meander, I think.
Yeah. I think it's an average meander for me too. I think it's got some nice moments. I think it needs some audio enhancements to really bring it to life. But I do quite like the slightly more somber end to Jamie's story.
Yeah, it's a different taste. It's not something I don't think would happen in Big Finish, actually.
Yeah.
They would go down that route. But, yeah, if this was the 30th anniversary and this was like a Radio 4 special, like you say, something like that, a bit earlier on, then it might have climbed up a bit more in estimations. But I think it just came a bit too late. The lament was...
lamentable. Excellent. Well, there we go. I'm glad to have covered it, but It's not going to be something I jump back into anytime soon.
But also, I do think it is still available from FrazerHines.co.uk, not sponsored.
Oh, wow. So I don't need to pay £50 on eBay for it.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think you do.
Well, I didn't, so it's fine. Okay.
I'm sure there are still copies available.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Too hot for TV.
Next up, Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon, The Flood, from Big Finish Productions, written by Lisa McMullin, directed by Helen Goldwyn, produced by David Richardson. It was released on the 4th of September 2019. News at the time, Terrance Dicks had just passed away. Season 26 would be the next Blu-ray set. And this next bit was exciting news for me that would have passed most people by. After a break of 15 years, Panopticon, the Doctor Who convention, was returning for Panopticon Light, with a bigger event planned for September 2020. Panopticon Light ultimately was just the cast of the TV movie, and by all accounts, it wasn't a very good event, and a lot of people complained. And then, obviously, the pandemic hit, so there would be no bigger Panopticon for me to go back and live the glory days of my life.
Oh, so was it in the original place where it used to be?
And no, that's a Primark now.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's not, you can't hold a Doctor Who convention in the Primark.
You could.
Yeah, you give it a try. The thing that was Panopticon, it was all the Dwas people when they were much younger, and all the stars. And actually, like, the pool of people you can invite to a convention is so small now that there's just, I don't think there's any point in trying to recapture that. I think you're much better off letting the Capitol do their thing, letting Hooverville do their thing, and just, like, you won't be able to, it'll never be as good as it was because times have moved on, people are dead, people are older, and the pool of guests is just smaller.
So why did people complain about it? It was just not good.
There was a whole thing about disabled access, I think, if I remember correctly, and just a general snobbiness from the organisers, a bit like, well, we know what we're doing. We're the original Doctor Who convention. And they started showing a lot of the old videos that they used to show that were like fan spoofs made in the 90s, which were very funny back then, but perhaps weren't suitable for a modern audience.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to say?
What?
They could have asked me to event manage and I would have sorted all of those things out. You need to get people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's very true. Mark works at events and he goes to a lot of conventions and he's always like, this is badly, not always actually, but you know.
No. Yeah, I'm quite harsh, but it's just obvious stuff. It's obvious.
Yeah.
I bet you at that Panopticon there were no signs up saying, queue here. This is this entrance. This is this way.
This is how sort of notable Panopticon used to be. They wouldn't announce the guests beforehand.
None at all.
Like they originally they used to, but then they got so big that it was just like, we don't need to announce the guests. People will just come, and they would always sell out, and they'd always have a good lineup. But it just meant there was no disappointment if anybody cancelled. But you always knew, and there was always like, they'd get a good range of guests, and there'd always be like a big guest like Brian Blessed or Tom Baker or somebody like that. But Halcyon Days, anyway. Luke Malloy's probably throwing things at his screen right now as he listens to this because he fucking hates me gibbering on about Panopticon convention. That's all I've got.
But the Panopticons, like on all the Blu-rays and stuff, they always have the video footage. They're from Panopticons, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you've got like the TARDIS set and it looks, massive.
Yeah, it was a bit of big old events in Coventry a lot of the time.
Yeah. Although whenever I watch those videos, it bugs me every time. They always have the mic and it's like, oh, is this working? Oh, yes, I can't switch that on. Oh, is your mic working? Let me pass this mic over to you. It's all that. It's like, who is doing the tech here?
Yeah.
Has nobody checked anything before it starts? Why have they not?
Yeah, and also, like, why is that still a problem at conventions?
Yeah, I know.
Conventions have been going for 40 plus years. Turn the fucking mics on and make sure there's enough for everybody on the stage.
It's like a basic PA system. Nobody can operate a PA system. No convention organisers know how they work. It is unbelievable.
I went to a big Star Trek one. I've only ever been to one Star Trek convention. It was because William Shatner was there. And this was about 10 years ago. And the sound was so... This was in the NEC. And he did his one-man show. And the sound was so bad that I walked up like the main sort of side lane of the hall and just stood at the front. And the guy's like, you need to move. It's like, I can't hear it. Can you hear anything back there? Because I fucking can't. And just stood there for the last like 30 minutes. And it's like, why do sci-fi conventions get this so wrong?
I know, every time. Oh, God.
Anyway, fuck them.
Anyway.
Releases at the time, we had the audiobook of The Seeds of Doom from BBC Audio. From Big Finish, we had Buried Memories featuring Bernie Summerfield and the David Warner Doctor. Harry Houdini's War featuring the Sixth Doctor and Perry. Tartarus featuring the Fifth Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa and Mark.
Yes.
Who the fuck's Mark?
Yeah, short-lived companion.
Right, okay. I was not aware of Mark. The First Doctor Volume 3, featuring the First Doctor, Susan, Ian, Barbara, Vicky, Stephen, Ben and Polly, Torchwood, The Vigil and The Latter Days. The Official Doctor Who Annual 2020, The Havoc Files, The Laughing Gnome, and the comic strip was The Mistress of Chaos, featuring the 13th Doctor and the Fam.
Wow.
I don't think I remember any of those releases, to be honest.
So Tartarus, is the first one. Fifth Doctor, Tegan Nissa in Roman time. They pick up this Roman guy, Mark,
Oh, yes, I remember the cover.
played by Peter Davison's nephew, I believe.
Right, okay. Classic Big Finish and Doctor Who actors.
Yes. And he lasts for, good, 5 or 6 releases. Gets converted into a Cyberman.
Oh, no. That always happens to the Fifth Doctors.
Yeah, I know. So which brings up a lot of,
Actually,
emotions. Yes. But there's a really good story within that. It's War Zone Conversion. They're like two-parters.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I don't think I put together that it was the same guy.
Yeah, it's that one. And I think that's at the end of that one, he gets cyberized.
Too hot for TV.
Rose Tyler and Clive Finch arrive on a parallel Earth where endless rain has drowned much of the planet. As they investigate, Rose encounters alternate versions of her family, Pete Tyler, and a young man named Rob Tyler, who it turns out is the male version of her in this dimension. They discover that the government, led by Prime Minister Margot Kinnear, is concealing the truth about the disaster. Disguising herself to infiltrate government facilities, Rose works with Rob to uncover the conspiracy, while Clive faces personal temptation to remain in this world when he meets a version of his wife. Ultimately, Rose confronts the Prime Minister, forcing partial revelations of the catastrophe before she and Clive leave the devastated Earth to continue their search across dimensions.
Too hot for TV.
So, the Flood, and indeed the box set this comes in, have you heard it before?
I have heard the first one before. Well, this and The Flood, so the first 2 episodes. I haven't heard any more than that.
Oh, interesting.
Thus far.
So I don't think it was at the time, but I listened to this first box set all the way through, and I loved it. Like, I remember thinking, it was at a time where I was getting a bit tired with Big Finish, and I was very cynical about this, and someone says, give it a go, and I've just always thought it was great. Didn't listen to the second one. Will do at some point, I'm sure, but...
Well, this is the thing. I don't remember being excited about this. Like, I got this much later on, like, fairly recently, in a sale. And it's amazing how, like, blasé we have. Like, Billie Piper is doing Big Finish. Like... when Doomsday was on, you couldn't, imagine being told that the Rose Tyler spin-off would be happening at some point on audio from Big Finish. And I think there was just so much Big Finish out. And she'd come back already, hadn't she, for the David Tennant stories by this point, which I don't remember anything about.
No.
It was exciting because she was coming back, and then when they were there, it was like,
those early 10th Doctor ones were all very episode 3 of a season. Like, they were fine, they were fun, and it was great to hear them again, but you didn't walk away going, what an amazing set of stories that has, really enhanced that Doctor and companion.
Yeah, and then I think I just didn't really appreciate that she was coming back to do these stories at all. So I'm really surprised that I wasn't bothered at the time.
I mean, I guess just the sheer volume of stuff, as we always say, like, you just suddenly go, well, I didn't really like those David Tennant ones. This is going to be inconsequential. I was listening to the latest her and Christopher Eccleston one today and having a wonderful time.
Yes, yeah, they're so brilliant, aren't they? Yeah.
It makes you sort of, I wouldn't change David Tennant, but it does make you yearn for another season of those two together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad. Again, Christopher Eccleston coming back.
Yeah.
And doing
Who would
these.
have thunk it?
After, he's, amazing announcement that he was coming back, really excited. And then we got to like box set number 2 or 3 and we're like, oh, standard. He's in the usual rotation now.
Yeah.
But those newer ones have sort of made it a bit more exciting.
Yeah, where they've tried to do a season, it feels like. And I think that's, weirdly, after moving to box sets, everybody's suddenly gone, actually, we kind of prefer the monthly or indeed bi-monthly thing. But yeah, I mean, it's good to mix it up. Anyway, we digress. Where do we find Rose Tyler in this story?
So, actually, when I first listened to this, I got a bit confused where this series was set. In my mind, it was post Journey's End, but it's not. It is pre-Journey's End.
Yeah.
So at the end of Doomsday, Rose has gone off to her parallel universe, and now this is her searching for the Doctor, those appearances throughout Series 4. She is jumping from dimension to dimension, slider style.
Yeah.
And in the first episode of this box set, she goes to an alternative universe, meets an alternative Clive,
Yeah.
who who didn't know anything about the Doctor, he was a bit of a conspiracy theorist guy. That world is, I think there's something up. It is to do with the Journey's End Davros stuff, isn't it? All these universes, all these alternative dimensions are dying.
So the reason they're dying is because of the reality bomb. Essentially, is that these Earths are all being pulled into that whatever is it, 26 planets or whatever it is that were lost, like the lost moon of Poosh.
Yeah. So she meets an alternative Jackie and Pete and Clive. She brings Clive back to her parallel universe. So the home, like the hub, is Pete Tyler. He's on radio. He can communicate with her while she's zapping out. Her ultimate aim is to find the Doctor. So then, the Flood is another different alternative dimension.
Yeah. And does it work as a concept for a series?
I think it does, because, like I say, like Sliders is a great idea. You've got, production. There's two things really. So, like story-wise, you can do anything and everything. It's a parallel universe, and you can mess with any kind of continuity. You can have all these familiar characters turn up being different people or acting out different things. And then production-wise as well, you can have the same actors doing different things each episode. You only need like 4 actors, and it's a different. They did that in Sliders every week. They'd land in the same like cafe, and it'd be the same people, but there'll be slightly different scenery. You've also got that time element as well, like in Crime Traveller.
Yeah.
When she jumps, there's only a certain window of time, and it seems to be a bit random. So she's only got like 12 hours to get back. Yeah. So again, that helps with the storytelling. I think there's a slight flaw though in that she's trying to find the Doctor, but it's never clear, is there supposed to be parallel universe Doctors? Because surely there would be one in her universe. She lands in this place, for example, and it's obviously not her universe that she was born in, the original one, because it's raining and there's all this stuff. Not just because it's raining. There's like a lot of things. There's like no technology and there's lots of rain and stuff. Yeah. But I don't know, does she stay there because she's stuck? Because I would just be like, well, there's infinite universes. It's obviously not mine. Zap to the next one. Like, who is she trying to meet here? A Doctor or the Doctor? That's the only thing.
I think it's the Doctor, but she doesn't know whether this Doctor's going to be there. And because she's who she is, she can't help but get involved in things a little bit.
But then she says it's like there's infinite possibilities. It's like an impossible task. Yeah. That's the only thing. There's no end to it. Whereas something like a Sliders, there's an aim. They need to get home, so they need to zap. Wait, this isn't home. We need to go home. It hasn't got that necessarily final end, although we know that she gets back and finds a Doctor and stuff. But
I think it works as like a limited series, and they've done the 2 box sets, and I don't know how the second one ends, but I will check it out at some point.
I think there's 3.
Oh, is there 3?
I think they've done 3. Yeah.
Fucking hell, big finish. Calm down.
I've got the first 2 in a sale, but yeah, there is one more to get, I think.
Right. Well, I hope they don't try and continue it on and on and on, because I do think, who knows, I might listen to all the others and go, what the fuck am I talking about? This is better than Doctor Who. But I think it's interesting. It's an interesting concept, sort of, not exactly, but sort of based on Russell T Davies was going to do Rose Tyler Earth Defense, which I don't think was about jumping universes or anything. It was just Rose being the lead. And, quite frankly, when you do have access to Billie Piper, who, because of Doctor Who and then the thing she went on to do, became a massive star, you don't turn down the idea now of doing a series with her at all. She might be the Doctor.
Well, yes, and also Mark Benson as well. Getting him back, I think, is quite good for Big Finish, because he's quite a big character actor. He's in loads of TV stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 3 episodes in a box set's just enough. Again, I don't need a 2-hour stories and 3 little stories telling alternative universe stories. And Doctor Who doesn't do enough alternative universes. I say this all the time, but I just think it's got massive untapped potential for the show.
Like I say, yes, do alternative universes. If we had more of that in Big Finish stuff, it wouldn't mess up all my continuity. They could just explain it away. Do all of that. This person meets this person, or this is a different Perry or whatever. Do that in an alternative universe, please. Don't do it in the main ones and mess up my timeline.
So let's talk about Lisa McMullin's script does it work? Is it a competent little hour-long adventure?
Yeah, I mean, it's just over like 40 minutes even. No, 49 minutes or something it was. So there's a lot to get in because each time you have to get in what this world is about, what's happening. And this is quite nice because it gives Clive a little story there as well, and it brings back his wife.
Yeah.
Played by the same actress who was in
really?
Rose.
It's the same actress?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it doesn't really go anywhere. There's not much. She doesn't really do much. It could be any actress, to be honest, but it is her. So because this is episode 2, they're in a bit of, I feel like they've been doing this for a while. So Clive is like her sidekick and goes to universes with her. I like how we have an alternative Rose unexpectedly in this.
So alternative Rose, she meets a guy and she's like, oh, you're all right. And then she realises that it's an alternative her and she fancied him. And he's also, not only her, but he's also gay.
Yeah, so it's Rob, isn't it? Rob, who is gay with Mickey in this universe.
Mickey is gay in every universe, apart from the one he's with Rose.
So I like that. I mean, it's a little bit, I mean, it's the first person she bumps into in this universe. I'm not sure if that's just getting to the point as quickly as possible because we only have 49 minutes. But I don't mind that. And it's a very season 2 egotistical Rose to do that as well.
Yeah, but I quite like that. I know, like, I think it works better by herself because she is a bit of a badass at this point because she is jumping through dimensions and she's on a mission. So she's not quite as irritating in terms of the egotism that happens when it's her and the Doctor.
No. And the actual story of the world here is that global warming is a big thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of rain. It's called the flood because there is lots of rain. Although we don't really hear that much rain for something called the flood. I was expecting more rain.
Yeah, at the beginning it's pissing it down, and then we've done the rain bit, but there's a lot of rain.
So basically, the crop, like there's something coming down in the rain, and basically the government have predicted that there's only like 70 years left in like the whole world.
But they're not telling people. Pete Tyler's running a sort of mission and he's got an undercover operative called Donna. Who could that possibly be?
Yes. So there's this, and there's a ban on technology as well. I mean, Barry Letts would be very proud of this script. It's totally down his street. I was preparing. I can't do it because of my voice, but I was trying to do my best. I was going to do a Barry Letts impression of him talking about this script, but I can't do it today.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, but we don't go too deep into the world though. There's the Prime Minister who is covering things up. Rose does her thing, infiltrates, tries to get to the bottom of what's going on, but then sort of leaves and just the world just gets on with it. We don't have a conclusion. We don't have a big revolution as such. Yeah. It's just the beginning of it, really.
Yeah, it's a thriller. It's a contained thriller with a global impact, but we leave, as you say, we leave the world to get on with it. There's the threat of the alien menace coming for them, which ultimately is the Daleks. It feels like that world's on the cusp of change and there are riots and things like that, but whether it's a cusp of change for good or bad, we'll never know. And I kind of like that because it's Rose's story, not that world's story.
Yeah, I mean, they could have made this like an hour and a half. We could have seen the whole thing and she could have been there longer and the whole government would have been collapsed and then Pete and his gang would have taken over and all of that. But no, we don't have any of that. And it's her and Rob working together. And then meanwhile, there's a smaller storyline. Clive is off trying to find his... So this Clive, this alternative Clive, is a Clive that didn't have a wife and kids.
She died.
I'm not sure. No, I don't think he ever had a wife and kids.
Yeah.
I mean, she dies in Rose, obviously. And Clive dies as well.
We never see it.
Oh, no, he's gone.
We don't see her die. We see her scream when he dies, right?
No, they're all dead in my mind. They're all dead in that shopping centre. They all died. So he is coming along really just to... is he looking for his wife specifically? I'm not sure because we see him... He goes to where he goes to find his parents. which I got confused about.
Yeah.
So he meets his dad and then finds out that he was never born in this world. And I don't know, there's a lot more. I was just reading, went down a TARDIS wiki, parallel universe. And in the Rose novelisation, there's a lot more about Clive. So his dad apparently was in original universe. This is getting confusing, all these different multiverses. In the main universe, in the book, his dad gets killed in Remembrance of the Daleks in the Shoreditch
of course
thing, which then Clive investigates and finds out about the Daleks and the Doctor and stuff, and that's and that's what original Clive, that was part of what he was investigating. Anyway, he meets his dad here. He's not born, and then he goes to like a local UFO group, which it must be the one that this Clive's universe goes to.
Right. Then
his wife, who would be his wife in the original universe? Are we all keeping up here? Yeah, she comes in, she meets him, but she didn't mean to go there. She was going to a book club or something, and then they just start chatting. And because, again, we don't have that much time, they're instantly like in love and want to be together.
Yeah.
After like an hour or two.
And that's what happens when you go to an alternative universe, though. Look at Rose. She gets an old doctor and is fucking, shat up with him straight away. Not even a hello, just to sort of make out. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if the Clive element worked as well in this. It was just a nice character thing for him, really, and to bring back that actress, I suppose. I don't know if they use her again.
Do you think the thriller story is the right way to go in a story where the Doctor is not present?
Yes, I think so. This is Rose doing what she knows and she has done before, like in Aliens of London. She's broken into the government. She's talked to the Prime Minister. She's doing all that kind of stuff. I think that's the conspiracy theory way, all of that kind of thing. I think that is the way to go because that's achievable for Rose and these characters. And I was like with Pete Tyler and the technology stuff.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure I don't know if that I feel like a lot of stuff might come back later on with that, with the agency stuff and everything.
If I remember correctly, the final CD the final story in the set doesn't wrap things up conclusively, but it feels like a good closing point for that season and brings some elements together, and then obviously goes, but the story continues.
And it is Donna that is this contact. So they actually say Donna Noble, don't they, at the end? And it's quite funny that when Rose is breaking into, I don't know, the government place with Rob's like, our contact says this is the way in through this cupboard. Donna said, and it's not, it's wrong, which is typical like Donna to get like the the intelligence wrong, which is quite funny.
Have you ever heard Donna Noble kidnapped? Because that's another one, isn't it?
I've got it. I've not heard it. Again, not bothered at the time. I bought it off, secondhand fairly recently.
Yeah.
Same with Martha Jones.
Oh, yeah. And I always wanted to know what happened to Martha Jones in that year. And they've done it in book form and in audio. And I've just gone, sometime.
There's so much. That is a long year. There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
Is it true to the spirit of the RTD1 era?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's got that humour in there as well.
Mm.
They're all, Pete Tyler and, Jackie's in the first episode of this box set as well. They're all just come from that first couple of series for me.
And it's so lovely to be back with them still in that guys. Like, I forgot I know they're only in a few episodes together, but Rose, Jackie Tyler and Pete Tyler, what a fucking great unit they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nice to hear them together, and I keep saying that I will go and track down the others and listen to them.
It's made me want to carry on listening to these now.
Yeah. Do you have much more you want to say on this?
I'm just looking at my notes, just seeing what else there is. Talked about Clive a lot. It's great to hear Clive.
Yeah, because again, he, as you said earlier, he's a big character actor, and he was at the time of Rose. And they not waste him because people's go, they wasted that character actor. But you forget in that first season, they're just like, we might only get one season, so we're going to get everybody we can to make this as good as possible. So you get people like him, Simon Pegg, Simon Callow, all these Richard Wilson, who are all amazing in it. But if you knew you had 4 seasons, they're the sort of people you'd make recurring characters and do a bit more with. But you're like, we may never get a chance to do this, so we get like sort of the best British telly actors we can.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't miss, I mean, this was made a while back, but you don't miss that there's, characters like Mickey aren't actually in it.
No.
Which I think at the time I was like, oh, it'd be good if they had Mickey. But it's probably, now looking back, it's probably good that it's not.
Mickey. But also, like, he was sort of the weakling a little bit, Mickey, like in terms of his performance. I felt like he got better over the course of the series, but even sort of putting aside his extracurricular activities of being a sex offender. Like, if you're going to revisit this era, he's the one character I don't mind you bringing it back in. I'm more upset about Captain Jack, to be honest, when they don't do. I mean, he's got his own issues as well, but the Captain Jack, Rose, and Ninth Doctor dynamic was so good for those 5 episodes, that I just, that's what I want my Big Finish series. I want it set just in between Boomtown and Bad Wolf, but it will never happen.
And I think actually it wouldn't have worked having Mickey in this, because then he's going to tie down Rose too much. I mean, there's a brief mention of Mickey in the first one as well, so I think they were like, oh, why don't you just stay here and try and be with Mickey or something like that. It's like, oh no. So you need Rose to be free and on her own, don't you?
Yeah, especially if what happens is when you go to another universe, you fall in love with the same person, and especially if he's gay, it's some problems.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm really glad I listened to these, and I definitely want to listen to them all now.
Yeah, me too. And just reminded me how much I loved the character of Billie Piper's Rose when she's on top form.
Yes.
So is this a clanger, a banger, or an average meander?
I'm going to say it's a banger.
It's a banger from me too. It zapped along. It's a great little story, great performances, great central concept. I was a big fan.
Too hot for TV.
Thank you for joining me today, first of all.
That's okay.
If people want to find you on the internet, where can they find you?
They can find me. Oh, I'm never ready for this. Find me at my podcast at To Watch Who.
Yeah.
Or at what's it called again?
Instant Finish? Oh,
no.
Finish
What's
Big.
it called? Finish Big. I always get it mixed up. Or at Finish Big on social media, on YouTube, where you find podcasts.
Yeah. So if you want more extended universe nonsense, then Finish Big looks at all the Big Finish stories in order. Plus, they do Instant Finish, which is your reactions to some of the latest releases. And To Watch Who is you and Sarah, who's a non-fan, going through all of Doctor Who. And you're doing Torchwood at the moment.
We are mid Torchwood at the moment, yes.
So you've done the entirety of the classic series.
Yeah, we're working our way through the new series and all the spin-offs in order. So yeah,
exciting.
We did Cyberwoman the other day and both enjoyed it.
Wow, I remember enjoying Cyberwoman at the time. I think it gets a bad rep because of the costume. Yeah.
Apart from that, that's exactly what we said. We loved the story. It's just maybe there's a few elements like that have dated a little bit. I've just thought as well. Just one more thing. I wonder if. Hang on, where are we? How many years of Doctor Who have we got? 60-something.
62.
I wonder, like, for the 80th anniversary, Billie Piper would do, like, a one-off CD called, like, Rose's Lament. And she would be a retired Billie Piper, just through her own website.
Or it could be Billie Piper's Lament.
Yeah, Billie Piper's Lament, yeah. Just talking about her time. I bet. Come on, people. Let's see.
You've got to wonder if there is more, maybe not right now, but there will be a world at some point where Big Finish comes to an end, and Doctor Who's certainly in a period of hiatus at the moment, not necessarily over. But, like, is there a world where the people that we've seen on TV for the last 20-odd years are a bit older and are more open to doing weirder off-brand things, or do they just get stamped down straight away now?
No, I think we are. I cannot wait for that 80th anniversary. Rose Tyler, Time Gash. The box set will be out.
I'm there. Brilliant. Well, Next time, I'll be joined by Luke Malloy, and we are hurtling towards the end of this very long season of Too Hot for TV, and we'll be looking at two very different things. First up, it's the Seventh Doctor novel Lungbarrow, and then we'll be looking at a couple of choice episodes of Doctor Screw, the Doctor Who porn parody.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What a combination.
Well, and Luke, I asked Luke why we putting them together, and he goes, well, one is all about the Time Lords not having sex, and the other one is all about the shagging. So there we go.
Wow.
Indeed. So we'll be back next week with that. But until then, I've been Dylan.
I've been Mark.
And this has been Doctor Who Too Hot for TV.
Doctor Who. Too hot for TV.